What's going on, guys? Summer World from Symbols here. Back with another best of 2020 so far video for you today. And again, my first one I did was talk about my 10 most surprising movies to come out in the 2020s. So I think I do another one since there are a lot more films that came out in 2020s that I absolutely adore. That were like films that I just was surprised at how good they actually ended up being. Like, would it be for a lot of different reasons, for marketing or just past tense or whatever, or just films that seem like not great at all, but they end up being great. One film just came out of nowhere. Those tough movies, obviously. So hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know any surprising movies that's probably seen the most in 2020 so far down below in the comment section. So, got to talk about. So let's get to the video. So for the first most surprising movie I will be talking about is actually the first true surprising movie of 2020 in my opinion, and that is Birds of Prey. Like, I know this movie has got a lot of heat ever since it came out. Honestly, I'm not honestly movie like fully loved honestly, but I think one of the only people that actually just generally love this movie. I think it's actually one of the best movies of DC honestly, and I was still putting out my favorite movies of that year, which again is not saying a lot obviously because 2020 obviously, but yeah, I was someone that was never looking forward to it. Obviously, I mean, I was hard to get excited about DC movies at this point, obviously, and like it's being someone that is a big DC fan. Even though they were kind of improving on this a little bit after Justice League, Aquaman and Shazam being actually surprisingly good movies, and I would have put them my most surprising in 2020, 2010s. But Birds of Prey, like, really? Going straight to a Birds of Prey movie? And then, like, I'm not supposed to be a Harley Quinn movie, obviously, and I like seeing Margot Robbie trying to, like, having to stand out a little more than time Suicide Squad, obviously. Well, the trailer just like it was going to be just not an interesting movie, obviously, and then where they're going straight to a Birds of Prey movie, honestly, and then going to have like Black Canary and Kid the King and Black Mask here, and then the trailers didn't really sell much either, unfortunately. But then I watched the movie, and it ended up being a lot of fun. It basically is like the Deadpool version in the DC universe, but with a whole Harley Quinn spin behind it, obviously, it being Harley Quinn, it makes it a lot more fun and entertaining. Margot really got to shine a lot more as Harley Quinn in this movie, why, which that's why I'm happy she's that. She'll give a lot more shine as this role, honestly, with her one makes Harley Quinn like such the iconic character in the first place. And even the other characters were great as well. I mean, Sketchhead wasn't the best in the world. Black Canary I thought was really well done here. Huntress was really well done despite her limited screen time. And even Black Mask I thought like really stole the show in this movie. You get some really solid action set pieces, obviously. You get some really fun sequences throughout. Even some good music as well. Again, well, of course, it's where they only held the Birds of Prey movie, obviously, in like the last like 20 minutes of the movie, obviously, and obviously we're not gonna get like a proper continuation of this, unfortunately. But what it was, honestly, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. Again, I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. Again, it's hard to be excited about DC movies. It was hard to be excited about DC movies around this time, obviously, but it's very surprising how much I enjoyed it. And for this next intro, we don't just one movie on this list. We actually got three movies, actually, which I'm not sure if that's here or not, honestly. But I saw all three of them. That is, and spoilers, that's the first one on the list, actually. And that is the Sonic movies, the three Sonic Hedgehog movies. Let's face it, I don't think any of us really excited for a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, obviously. And what was the first one being with that terrible trailer, obviously. I mean, well, they put it on, so I was like, really? But I'm just gonna wait. All big Sonic movies are great, obviously. While they do have their issues, of course, of course, they are just generally fun movies. The first one being just a simple, fun road trip movie, basically Sonic into as well. And the voice actor does a great job voicing the character, makes Sonic feel like a fun, likable presence. Obviously, you get some really fun action set pieces, and of course, you got Jim Carrey playing Robotnik, who is honestly still every scene he's in these movies. Obviously, like he really delivers the greatness of this character, while adding his own spin to it. Obviously, and it's good seeing Jim Carrey, being Jim Carrey. The sequel, I think, really improves a lot of the first one, obviously. Bringing Tails and bringing Knuckles, who I thought were great added additions to the movie, with some really fantastic action set pieces along with it as well. And then you got Sonic Hedgehog 3, obviously, which basically played Sonic Adventure 2, which I actually did play and beat around that time, actually. Obviously, I'm bringing Shadow, played by Keanu Reeves as well, was a really nice addition. And you just get a really fun series of movies out of just simple, fun adventure movies. And again, the fact obviously I was not a huge Sonic fan. Obviously, I mean, at least at the time, at least obviously, I'm still trying to get to some of the games. Obviously, I don't think anyone will look. I was expecting not only get a good first movie, obviously, but a good trilogy in general. With the third one being actually being like super close to making my best list of 2024. With the third one being super close to making my best films of 2024, it just barely missed it, but it's still a fantastic movie, especially if you love Sonic Adventure 2. But it really gets to stand on its own. And honestly, I cannot wait to see what they do with Sonic Hedgehog 4 coming in next year. It's always going to be on my most anticipated movies of that year. And for the third on the most surprising list on this video, we have Ghostbusters Afterlife. Let's face it, I'm pretty sure none of us were excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife, honestly. Like, really, another Ghostbusters? I mean, well, it was actually going to be a kind of continuation in a sense, obviously. And again, I think people will still have it back to us from the 2016 movie, obviously, which rightfully so. And so, and just turns out it like it was going to be just a lifeless movie. But it turns out it had a lot of life in it. So while it does have a lot of nostalgia bias towards it, it has a lot of nostalgia being moments, especially towards the end. It brought back life what people love about Ghostbusters with the fun energy, the fun characters, the great back and forth. Honestly, got really great performances, really solid characters, really fun action, really good effects, obviously, and just one that really expanded on the lore in a fun and interesting way. Which also kind of made like Frozen Empire a lot disappointing, which I think if I remember correctly, I include that on my most disappointing video. Honestly, you guys want to check that video out. But Afterlife was overall a genuine surprise at how much I really enjoyed it. And enjoyed it, honestly, again, just fun energy, fun characters, just bring back one makes Ghostbusters, well, Ghostbusters. And kind of similar, honestly, to the next entry we're talking about here, and that is Godzilla X Kong. Again, it's kind of surprising that we actually got a good Godzilla Kong movie, obviously. As of now, as a film, this is really the only film in the MonsterVerse, along with the sequel, that I actually enjoyed. For this, I really didn't really enjoy much of the other MonsterVerse movies, which I'm not sure how much a hot take that really is. And also, they're bad movies, obviously. They're not like disasters or anything like that, obviously. 2014 Godzilla movie, got Kong Skull Island, King of the Monsters, I just didn't really enjoy. Again, not bad movies by any stretch, honestly, but they just, I don't know. And if I did, I felt like I could have more fun, honestly. But honestly, while they do have their moments, they're just movies I just wasn't really that enamored and focused on, honestly. And of course, coming to one that actually did watch all Godzilla movies actually for the first time a couple years ago. Honestly, but it still ended up being the weakest of the Godzilla movies, honestly. And I really didn't enjoy any monsters, honestly, until this movie came out. And the trailers didn't do well so much on that either, honestly. But this movie came out and delivered what we wanted for these movies. Just stupid, dumb fun. It's one that I don't think really focuses too much on the human characters, and even when it does, honestly, it's actually more interesting this time around. But it's just pure great Godzilla and Kong action. Which is, what we want from this type of movie. Just pure, bang Godzilla Kong action. And we get that here. That's pretty all I might be honestly, but just saying that I did enjoy a monstrous movie till this movie came out, it definitely makes this list. And now we get to that surprising aspect where it's movies that kind of came out of nowhere but surprised me. It's another actual trilogy, and that is the X trilogy. Again, let's face it, I'm pretty sure nobody expected this trilogy to be as good as it was. No, I'm really sure nobody expected it. Like, we really expected this trilogy to come out of nowhere and be just like a blur away. Like, the original X kind of just came out of nowhere, obviously, and she was just like, really? X? Honestly, and then it came out and pretty much blew everyone away, obviously. And it was a great horror movie in a year that was really stacked with great horror movies in 2022. Again, a movie that delivered like what you want from a slasher, and actually has a really interesting story and really interesting characters, really good acting, and really great kills as well. Like, yeah, this movie's great. I tell you, that same year, we basically got Pearl, which was a prequel to X, obviously, and somehow that ended up being another great prequel. Probably one of the better horror prequels that we have gotten. Obviously, we have gotten an exceptional performance. Okay, and it ended up being very different from X as well. And then a couple years later, we got Maxine that came out to it's one of the weakest of the trilogy, obviously. I wouldn't call it disappointing, in my opinion. Like the mystery was a little more predictable than I expected. It was still a great movie, in my opinion. I think all three movies are great, obviously, and all three are very distinct from each other, very different from each other. And the fact that we had this kind of good trilogy, honestly, was pretty impressive, honestly, from Tiny West. And honestly, it makes me excited to see what this guy does in the future. Yes. And now we go to another horror surprise, honestly. And again, another movie that came out the same year, and that is Smile. And I'm just going to the first one, obviously, honestly, because I actually was a little more excited for the Smile to this movie, obviously, and that movie was still great. But the original Smile was a movie that, when it was announced, you're like, it's probably going to be like Truth or Dare, honestly, these type of movies, honestly, where they tried to basically, do these horror movies on weird aspect, honestly, and they don't want to choose there, honestly, and with that weird smile thing that you do, honestly, and they also take value from thinking that trailer, honestly, so I felt like it was going to be just another weird movie and just going to be like so not scary. But again, I actually saw the movie actually in theaters, actually, and I was genuinely surprised at how much I enjoyed it and how much I was really invested in what was going on. Most because how it really ties into the state of mental health, actually, and how people react to mental health, how people react to this and that and everything. Well, it is not. It doesn't really fit a lot of the actual aspect thing. Honestly, the ending was a bit weird. Honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It's still a pretty effective movie with a great lead performance, really solid characters, and just a really interesting mystery. Even Smile 2, honestly, was actually pretty effective as well, what I did as well. I still actually tell you which I enjoyed more, actually. Honestly, I cannot see what else to do with the next one, honestly. And now we get to the alien movie on this. Get to an alien movie on this list, honestly. I think do a few that made my last one, honestly. This one was definitely surprising. That is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Yeah, I remember not being like too excited for this movie, honestly. It's really just definitely a movie that I knew I was probably gonna enjoy, but I enjoyed it way more than I expected. I don't know, maybe I just wasn't vibing with the style what they're trying to go for here, obviously, but for me, it's just how it looked, obviously. But me and my ended up being a genuine surprise with how much I enjoyed, obviously. And someone that basically grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously, at least with the 2003 show, obviously. I definitely do, I'm familiar with the Turtles and these characters, and the fact they end up being this fun and this entertaining and this exhilarating, honestly. I'll be honest, this might be my favorite of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, obviously. I always enjoy the movies, obviously, but this is, my opinion, far and away the best of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, in my opinion. Like, bar none. Well, because not only gets to the teenage aspect of these turtles, obviously, but it's just like so fun and energetic. I thought it does the work pretty well. The cast is really well done here, and it's just like pure fun, entertaining. And honestly, cannot wait for that sequel. And now we get into another horror movie on this. Actually, one that came out a couple years ago, one I was not expecting to so much I did, honestly. And that is Alien Romulus. And 2014 was also not a good year for horror movies, in my opinion, and this was definitely one of the best ones. And his other fact that obviously the Alien franchise has been like so up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, with this quality. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we all were surprised that an Alien movie actually ended up being good. Until what like some Afterlife actually it does like a little too much on nostalgia in some aspects. It managed to stick out on its own and tell its own unique story, honestly, while the character on them was like living in the wild. Just at least good enough that we actually do care about them and it delivers a pure alien action, honestly, like some of the best alien moments that we've gotten in quite a while. Again, so the franchise been like so incredibly up and down now, like the last like many years. Obviously, the originals are going to be great. Like the originals are classic. I put both of them in favorites of all time. Obviously, like they're classic for a reason. This is, like, my opinion, the best of the sequel, the best alien movie we gotten since those original two movies. While it doesn't come close to those two original two movies, obviously, the fact that we actually got finally a good alien movie actually is pretty impressive. And now for the ninth movie we're talking about here is A Christmas Story Christmas, which obviously is the supposedly awaited sequel to A Christmas Story. And I'm gonna give probably one of my only hot takes, honestly. I did kind of like Christmas Story Christmas more than the original. I've always liked the original, but it's never been one of my favorites. Especially if you saw my video on my video a couple years ago on my favorite Christmas movies was on the list, if I remember correctly. But it was a good movie, obviously, but it's not really like a Christmas classic, in my opinion. Because a sequel that was going like years after the original, I'm like, really? But around up being like a more heartfelt and more poignant than I expected. Having some really touching and emotional moments, and not like there was definitely some moments in the end that really give me tear eyed. Yeah, a long wing sequel that actually delivers. Who knew? And for the last entry on this most surprising, on the 10 more surprising movies 2020s, is another series of movies, honestly, that's technically three movies, not really a trilogy, but technically three movies that say franchise. And that's basically all the Predator movies that came out in 2020. They're talking about, of course, Prey, Killer Killers, and Badlands. Because let's face it, when Predator was announced, obviously being like a prequel to the original Predator, did any of us expect it to be a good, honestly, even when they didn't try to put directing the movie? Yeah. I'm pretty sure nobody did it. Not because I thought it was going to be woke or anything like that. Obviously, I'm not like that, honestly. But obviously, no, obviously Predator has just not been the greatest franchise, obviously. Yeah, like honestly, they've been trying to like make this like a franchise, honestly, and obviously, not the greatest. And in truth, I don't think any Predator movie is really ever going to top that original movie because, well, the original is like bad classic for a reason. You have to keep trying to make like more movies, obviously, and with various months of obviously, Predator 2 being like, an okay for me, Predators being decent, and we did not talk about Shane Black's Predator. Yeah, if you know what I mean by that. So I'm still imposed now the ones here. We're like, really more Predator? Can you just let this franchise die already? It's more of that, because I know some people think it was going to be woke or anything like that on sleep, but not really at all. But probably was a genuine surprise, actually. Because I still probably think that one of the best Predator movies, actually, is like Seven Original. Again, not necessarily going to top the original, obviously, but probably was a surprisingly damn good movie. And of course, now they'll say, oh, there's no way a woman would be the Predator, obviously. Like, I'm not going to get into all that details, obviously. But it was a damn good movie. That was a very simple movie, but it delivered, which I feel like a lot of fans I feel like should take more lessons from that movie, obviously. I'm talking about you, Terminator, obviously. Man, it pretty much some life to this like one step franchise, and it was a genuinely fun movie that was very entertaining, very lively, and just a very joyful and very just delivering experience with a great performance and some really great action set pieces. And then lastly, we basically got like two Predator movies actually, which guys now both of those movies actually were close to making my. I think like Killer Crow was actually the last cut on my top 20 best films of that year, and Predator Badlands did make my top 15 that year. Yeah, Killer Crow is also being like an anthology movie that alone was genuinely surprising how much I enjoyed it, how like badass and how they a little bit more like into aspects involving the Predators actually, and I would love to see more of that type of style honestly. And then we got Predator Badlands, which actually spin like the Predator as the protagonist. And again, I still think I prefer to not be the direction they take the Predator franchise going forward. The fact that it ended up being like an insanely fun, entertaining movie, obviously, was a giant surprise. Like I probably would enjoy Badlands, but the extent to why I enjoyed it was a giant surprise. Again, it was fun, entertaining, had like pretty clearly performances, had a pretty interesting story. And one mistake tell was really inspired by some video games, like obviously. Dan Trevor basically saved the Predator franchise, honestly, and honestly, it makes me excited to what we get from this franchise going forward. Not really the direction balance, like a sequel, yeah, but I don't want all Predator movies to be that direction, obviously. But again, Predator got three Predator movies this decade, and all of them end up being great. That one puts them on this list. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my fix of the 10 most surprising movies that came out in the 2020s. Again, check out my original video I did like a while back, obviously, where I talk about films that wasn't necessarily want to talk about films like, care about Demon Hunters and Star X. You can check out that video. And let me know down in the comment section what films in 2020 surprised you the most. I would genuinely love to know down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if any other best 2020 videos you guys want to see me down below. I am Sam One World from Sam One Productions. I will see you guys next time. As always, stay cool, everybody, and I'm sprinkling positivity your way. Peace.